Make sure you check out the hottest podcast in the city, The Smartest Dumb People.
Yo, what's up, y'all? This is Toot at the hottest podcast in the city, The Smartest Dumb People. I'm here with my nigga, that dude Johnson. You know what I'm saying? We go way back like 4 flats on a Cadillac. Y'all tune in every week or every time. Hit the like button, subscribe, do what you're supposed to do. Like, comment, share, tell your people about it. Y'all know what it is? It's The Smartest Dumb People! Yes, sir.
Buddha. Every winter, I got messages saying, what's up with the show? 1 to where you still got kids writing essays on 472. Shout out to Chris, he came through.
Came back there. And you go, okay. And she said,
Okay, he turned it's not money, baby. They don't need cash in their hands. Right. So now the fuck with that regardless of the fact. You don't know. You don't know his fucking intentions. Teaching that. What are people? Listen, I'm gonna take my time down here. Right. I didn't understand. When I tried to conduct, come on. And I'm talking about my in-law niece. My niece, I done bought her.
I was born in the same place I was, but they decided to move along. They traveled here.
I had a homeboy, and I'm thinking about getting the motherfucker down. I want to get it to they both was. Welcome. This is The Smartest Dumb People, and I'm the host, Anthony, that dude Johnson. And always to my left, Quando Rondo, my high school bud. We got a special guest in the building. He goes by the name of Dave Pantos. He's actually running for D.C. District County Attorney. Welcome to the show, my brother. We appreciate you. So listen, we got to have a dope conversation because we know this judicial system, the laws, and all of that is really messed up, man. So to have somebody that can be in control of actually helping people get out of jail and putting people in jail, we definitely needed to have this conversation. We appreciate you, Mr. Pantos, for coming through.
No, for you even this.
Yeah.
Give us your time.
Yes, sir. So let's get straight to it. Why are you running for D.C.?
First of all, thank you so much for having me on. You guys are amazing. I'm so excited to learn about what you're doing. This is the best podcast in the city of Omaha.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I'm not pandering. I believe it. So we have a crisis in our criminal justice system in Nebraska. We have the worst prison overcrowding in the country. We have the worst racial disparities in sentencing and incarceration, some of the worst recidivism rates, and we are just doing the wrong thing. And if you look back where it all originates from, it's the Douglas County Attorney's Office. We need a change. We've had the same guy in office for a generation. It's time for someone new. I'm focused on criminal justice reform, prison reform, and making our communities safe again.
Right. All right, so as far as it, I always wanted to ask this question. What exactly is prison reform?
Sure. So it's looking at the fact that we are, compared to the rest of the country, where they're reducing their prison population because they're being smarter about crime, we keep raising up our population, which means it's more and more overcrowded, which means there's less services available to folks who are incarcerated, which means they're more likely to reoffend when they're released. And we're having to spend $150,000 a year for some prison staff because they have to do all this overtime, and it's breaking the bank. And now they're talking about building a new prison. They're saying it's going to be $270, $300 million. I think we're better off spending the money on programs that, stop the cradle to prison pipeline, divert nonviolent offenders. Yeah. We need to stop prosecuting marijuana.
Right.
All those kinds of things.
Right.
Let's be smart about crime and not just throw everyone in prison.
What I never understood is how other states, like you just said about marijuana, I know it's all in kind of like a district type of setting or whatever when it comes to different states, but I'm just trying to understand why is Nebraska so hard on not going with the marijuana? What's the point of that?
Yeah, so and it's kind of tragic because at the beginning 30, 40 years ago we were actually ahead of the rest of the country because we had reduced marijuana fines down to a reasonable amount, but then the rest of the country started moving towards decrim, legalization, medical marijuana, and we're still stuck in the 1980s, 1990s mindset.
Right.
And there was all these folks signed the petition a couple of years ago to get it on the ballot. The Supreme Court said, no, you didn't do it right, got thrown out, even though the people wanted it. They're doing it again now for medical marijuana. The fact is the people want marijuana to not be illegal.
Yeah.
And we need to get there. We need to
And
stop.
more money for the city also.
More money
You know?
for the city. I mean, you look at Colorado, you look at other
Yeah.
states, millions and millions of bucks coming into the public coffers
Right.
to support education and other
Yeah,
programs.
wherever you put it towards. You can put it towards the interstate, you can put it towards the city, you can put it towards school, you can do, it's just,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So when it comes to being a DC, it's just more than just it's more to it than just being a DC. Like even what you said with the prison reform. So
Yeah.
we definitely need to learn. We definitely need to work on the people that we put in prisons. Are they really being rehabilitated and being able to function in society? And we have to give them more options when they get out. So, like you said, like programs need to be created and things like that, because a lot of these people, when they get out of jail, a la Rick Ross, we had a man that was worth $600 million when he got out when he went to jail. He was worth $600 million. When he got out of jail, he had $2 to his name.
Yeah.
And this is what we deal with in society, especially impoverished communities.
Yeah.
So if you give me 5 years for a domestic violence charge or whatever the case may be, and I come home, I need somewhere to be able to function and now learn how to deal with being in society, because a lot of people just recommit the crimes, or a person that's broke, they get out for a DUI and do 2 years, they get out and then they rob a bank. So now it's the double whammy. So how do we stop that? I like what you were saying about forget building a new prison. Let's build new programs and things to help these people, because that's where I think Omaha's definitely behind, but so is the government. I'm talking about the government as a whole in the United States. But I think that we're stuck in this mentality of 1980s, 1990. Hell, you can go back as far as the 1970s, because they just brought back the Roe versus Wade. So I don't know.
We got a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
We got Roe v. Wade. We got criminal justice reform. All these things are on the plate for this coming election.
yeah, your job.
Absolutely.
You got a whole lot under your umbrella.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like you've got the guy who's in office right now. He spent a lot of time this spring fighting against criminal justice reform bill. There was a great piece of legislation in the Nebraska legislature called LB 920. It would have reformed all the stuff we're talking about: sentencing, releasing prisoners who are really old, all that kind of stuff, reducing fines and sentencing for drug offenses. Who was down in the legislature as much as he could be, testifying and advocating against it? The guy I'm running against. So if you draw it all back to where it's all going, it's this guy who's been in and just doesn't want to change the system. And here we are back with overcrowded prisons, racial disparities in incarcerations, worse in the country. We need to do something about it.
I gotta ask you this as a black man. Like I said, this is definitely a pro-black show, and we try to always talk about helping our community. As a black man, when we have conversations with politicians or people that's trying to get voted in office in any facet of life, we always have to put our blinders on, because we understand we're just a vote to a lot of people. What's the difference between you and Klein as far as in wanting the vote from the impoverished communities?
Yeah, well, I think a great example is 2020. The guy I'm running against, Don Klein, declined to prosecute the murderer of James Furlock. And then when he sent the case to a grand jury indicted the killer. He attacked the grand jury. He attacked the special prosecutor. And then when there was legitimate criticism of him doing that, he left the Democratic Party and did a press conference saying, I already voted for Donald Trump. I'm now a Republican.
Right.
By the way, Donald Trump is a law and order guy.
Right.
Which is kind of crazy when we learn what we learned. So he's problematic at best when it comes to issues regarding race. I mean, personally, my career, I've been a lawyer for 26 years. I used to run the legal aid program for Nebraska for many years. I spend every Tuesday morning in county court defending people who are facing eviction. And the eviction issue right now is hot, and the burden of that is mostly on black and brown people,
Right.
by far.
Right.
I had a whole family today I was working with. They were a Somali refugee family. Most of them didn't even speak English, and they were about to get kicked out of their homes. I stopped that eviction, and they got to go home today. I've been doing the work for decades.
Big
And
footwork.
so I'm ready to do this as the county attorney.
Can you just make sure to keep my number on speed dial when I get a
The
victim?
difference between Don Klein and my
Well,
guy.
I gotta take advantage
He
of it.
here.
I gotta
That's
take
the
advantage.
difference, man. Vote right now if you think.
Vote for Dave Pantos. Let me
Man.
tell you why, man. Because he's
Vote.
able. Ain't too many people gonna sit across the table from two brothers and
Man.
have a genuine conversation in this dark alley because
Man.
we're here.
Man.
And we appreciate you for coming.
This is-
He spoke on Klein. He spoke on Klein, and I wanted to talk to him about the Klein
And
situation.
I want to talk about Klein because I haven't seen since I've been a voting citizen. I've never voted Don Klein, but since voting, I've never seen a change in our community while Don Klein has been in office, and that's my. I've never seen nothing happen with Don Klein. God damn, Don Klein, what have you done?
Well,
Where you at?
And what I really like about you, Dave, is that you actually are in the field. Like
Yeah.
it's not you
Footwork.
see, you
Big
see,
footwork.
you see people holding up signs all the time, and never the person that they're saying vote for, vote
Yeah,
for,
you
vote
don't know
for.
who they are.
Every event, I've seen them at every event. I've seen them out in the community actually doing the footwork, and anybody that's willing to go in the community and do the footwork actually cares about the community.
Hey.
Right on.
And the people that's putting the footwork in which he has done and is doing should get the best vote, man.
All right, so let me ask him about the
Not just the money behind it.
the Gardner situation. So when he wasn't originally prosecuted or even charges brought on him,
That's correct.
he basically got to go home. And then when he found out that he was going to have charges brought up against him, he killed himself. What do you think in that situation would have been the best, the ideal situation? Because we know his father pushed the
We
young
don't
lady.
even know if he killed himself. I don't even know if that's for real.
Well, I would play the conspiracy game. I would with you and him, but I just want to get to the facts of what would you have did in that situation.
Yeah, I think the big mistake was that weekend when he wasn't even arrested. He was they just had a chat, and Klein took his position, said it was self-defense, and let him go. He should have been arrested, and especially if he's someone who may even have mental health issues, which would have led to a suicide. I mean, if he had been incarcerated in protection, at least he might even still be alive today, and he would have had a trial,
Right.
and we would have had a jury, all that kind of thing. The fact that Klein let him go, and he ended up running across the country to Oregon,
Right.
where he was, wasn't even within the
Supposedly.
purview. Yeah, I mean, he wasn't even within the purview of the Omaha Police Department or Douglas County.
Right.
Everything he did, the only thing he did right was when
They wouldn't
he
have let him bond it out though anyway. They would have let him probably bond it out anyway, in which he would have been out and probably
I don't think people get out on murder charges, bonded out unless you're a millionaire.
with the right backing behind you, you probably can get a bond. But I don't think he probably could have went as far as he went. He probably wouldn't have been in state and around in the same state though.
Yeah, you can't leave the state. without
Exactly.
bond.
Yeah.
So you said basically you would put charges on him right away?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I seen the video. His father pushed the young lady, and he actually had a bunch of Facebook posts basically saying he was ready for war. And then went down there and killed somebody. That was unreal.
I think he went down there because his bar wasn't even open, but he was down there. I won't say he went down there to kill Jim Skurlock. He went
Right.
down there to kill someone, and that's
He just was
what the
ready.
jury found.
He probably didn't go to kill, but he was just ready. He was on edge and ready for whatever.
I can see that too, Ron. So let's see here. Let's talk about the Roe versus Wade. So what's your opinion on the Roe versus Wade situation?
Well, I don't have a favorable opinion of the Supreme Court's decision. I mean, the fact is that Roe v. Wade was a super precedent. It was something that's in place for almost 50 years. The courts have looked at it time and time again and upheld it. Planned Parenthood versus Casey in 1992, other decisions, upheld it. What changed? The only thing that changed is we have 3 Trump appointees, 2 of whom apparently lied and said, oh, we'll uphold Roe, but they didn't. And now we have a situation where we have many states right now where abortion is absolutely illegal and criminalized because they have these trigger bills. Missouri is a great example. Other states like Texas, it's illegal. Nebraska, we're just 1 or 2 votes away in the state legislature for being criminalized here as well. There's probably going to be a special session in the next few months. We need to support state legislators who vote against abortion restrictions. But here's something that I'm saying, regardless of what the legislature does, if they ban it with some exceptions, as Douglas County Attorney, I promise I won't prosecute any woman, any doctor, any medical provider, any pregnant person for seeking an abortion, whether they leave the state to get an abortion, whether they, medical abortion here. We're not gonna prosecute or incarcerate any person under any new abortion
So I'm
restriction.
glad you said that. That's pretty awesome. But if it's the state law, what would be the next step? So hypothetically speaking, you get in office, you doing your thing. A woman, we now have this as a law in the state of Nebraska. You cannot have an abortion. What makes you the end all be all in the say so?
Well, hey, let's go back to the Spurlock case. Don Klein decided not to prosecute
Facts.
Gardner. I can decide not to prosecute Jane Smith, who decides, in consultation with her medical provider, that for whatever reason, she's going to terminate a pregnancy. It's the same situation.
So wouldn't that run you out of office faster? Like, wouldn't they want to push you out of there? Wouldn't they try to somehow, some way, want you to put your 2 weeks notice in?
That all ties into the vote. If you with the vote or you against the vote, they wouldn't vote. But
yeah, but I'm saying, like, there's no way you can get basically kicked out of your chair.
No, it's an elected position.
Mm.
So yeah, if
You're right.
I'm up for re-election in 4 years, it's up to the people to decide. That's why I'm saying it now, because hey, if you care about civil rights for more than half of the population, if you care about being in a society that respects women and respects their choices, you should vote for me. If you want to go back to a society where women are second, third-class citizens, where people are having back alley abortions, vote for the other guy.
Right,
It's your choice.
I agree, hands down. So also, while we're talking about that, I want to bring up what Mrs. Mary Miller said in a Trump situation. So let's watch the clip. We'll be right back with y'all.
I want to thank you for the historic victory for life in the Supreme Court yesterday. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, President Trump. It's such an honor to be able to welcome you. I'm so honored to have your endorsement. President Trump, on behalf of all the MAGA patriots in America, I want to thank you for the historic victory for life in the Supreme Court yesterday. Our victories for life and the Second Amendment would...
All right, so that's the actual clip, and I wanted to ask your opinion for 2 reasons, Mr. Pantos. First reason is you going for the DC. Second reason is for you being a white male, a white man. And you just said that you are 100% behind women's rights to do whatever. But what I learned, like I told you, I did some reading, and I found out the whole point of them basically canceling out or saying women can't have abortions because 37% of the world is, or 37% of the abortions being had is white women, and that's out of all other races. So basically, and they're trying to basically create this pro-white life. That's the whole point of them canceling them. A lot of people think it's because they're taking away rights for women in general. No, they're worried about the white population. So what's your opinion on the quote that lady made, and do you have any insight on it?
I mean, it's saying the quiet part out loud, basically, right? And, look, I think if abortion is banned and criminalized in Nebraska as it's being done in other parts of the country, the burden falls on the poor, women of color, black and brown women, Native women, indigenous women, the folks who can't afford to take a trip to Illinois or California. And so you can't divorce the decisions being made by the Supreme Court from issues of race and poverty. So absolutely, it's the quiet part out loud.
And with me and you was talking before the show started, and I was just telling you how what Trump did is he made it cool to be racist. He made it okay to be racist. And like you said, they just came out of the dark. But in my personal opinion, that's why it's so hard being black, brown in this society, because like for the first time, I hate this, I'm going to say this and I hope this don't offend anybody. For the first time, women, you get to see what it's like to be black for a second, because our rights have been stripped away from us for our whole lives, and we still are mistreated to this day. So I'm totally sick about what they did and what they actually came out with the abortion law, but it still is something that we've been dealing with. So it's kind of like, okay, they've been doing this.
On the flip side of even just being black, I think it's so fucked up that what if a woman is raped? You can't force how could you force a woman to have a baby that not even created on her own time? Mm-hmm. It's like you're dictating what somebody made happen to me. That's the weirdest thing that you can force it on.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why I keep harping back on the issue of prosecuting women who, let's say it's a woman in that situation who's been raped or it's incest or whatever. I mean, in good conscience, as a prosecutor, I have to uphold the Constitution first. And I think the Constitution tells me equal protection under the law.
Right.
Right. It doesn't tell me let's put women in prison. It doesn't tell me let's put doctors in prison. I don't see anything in the Constitution that says we need to do that. Yeah. And you're right. It's ultimately it comes down to what kind of society are we going to live? Is it an equal and fair society, or is it going to be the Handmaid's Tale? We have two choices.
Yeah, I agree with you. So how it works is with the Smartest Dumb People, make sure you like and share.
Please like and share because it's so deep.
This is deep. But how it works with the Smartest Dumb People is we like to ask you questions, which I think we got that part out the way. I think they know what you're trying to do. They know what you're about. So now we switch to where you become a part of the cast. And basically when you become a part of the cast, we got topics we will discuss. And this gives people your human side. We've seen your poker face when it comes to politics. Now it's time for you to let your hair down and become a human.
Hold on now. What got hair down? That's not fair.
Now it's time to let
I'm working the game too, man. I'm in the club, man. I'm in the club.
Well, let's let her answer this question. Let you answer this question for this young lady that asked this question, and then we'll get to the topic. So she said, "What about if a man doesn't want the baby?" So this is what we've been dealing with since the abortion law hit, is that men are now saying, well, I always didn't want the baby, but I still had to have it. Well, and again, my opinion on it is that I say you don't have to ejaculate into a woman. So it is a man's choice right away. What's your opinion? Because the lady is asking basically, what about a man? He doesn't have a choice.
Yeah, I think in the end I'm going to take the side of whoever the pregnant person, because
they have the last choice.
They have to carry the baby to term if it's illegal, and so that's who I'm going to stand with on that one.
Okay, I agree with you.
So my choice. I'm 41. I never wanted no kids. I never went in a relationship wanting any kids.
So,
but I did. I got
when you have sex, right? It's this thing called conceiving a child.
Correct.
Okay. So for you to say I never wanted a child, you should have never had sex unprotected.
Correct. That's my fault. But I'm just saying. I'm not saying it's my fault. I'm just saying whatever happened. But if I say I don't want a kid,
you said if the girl get pregnant and then she still want to have
now
it's still. But I keep telling you.
Okay, but that's what I'm just saying.
It's a dumb point. We argue and get loud from time to time. It's a dumb point that a man will literally have sex with a woman,
but guess what?
Unprotected, and know the results. Listen, even when you have sex with somebody,
results. But guess what?
Even if
you can have her. Yeah, let me talk.
Go ahead.
You can have a sex with a woman and don't you don't want to have a kid with her. You don't want to have a kid. You gonna say I don't want kids.
All right, there's people
but you
out
don't
there,
want to use rubber.
There's people out there that when they have sex, they don't want STDs, and they get them. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. You got to know who.
You don't have a choice about that. You don't have a choice about that.
You do have a choice. You don't have to put your. You don't have to. You don't have to. You do have a choice. So we can get on to the next. Let's get to the conversations we need to have.
Here's something I want to say.
Okay.
Along these lines.
Okay.
So last year, they were trying to push new sex ed standards for Nebraska schools, and the right-wing crazies started showing up and saying, you can't teach my kids about sex ed, I'm going to be the one who's teaching them that. So you can't both say, oh, we're going to, make abortion illegal, and also say we're not going to do sex ed. Because how are people even going to know how it all works if you take out sex ed?
Do they still teach sex ed in schools?
Well, they should. They should.
We did have it in schools.
I agree with
They're going to take it away.
I agree with Dave on that one. I agree 100% with Dave.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
You know how many? Let me ask you this. Let me put this hit the fan before you find what you want to look at.
Yes, sir.
Do you know how many 14s and 15-year-olds is having sex? Do you think they're okay? Do you think that's a 15-year-old want to have a baby, even though they have it unprotected? It's unprotected.
Well, I like what Dave said. I like what Dave said, and the most important part about having sex is the education behind it.
Yeah.
And then the second part about having sex is I'm tired of people.
Everything ain't everything is not educated.
This sex is black and white. It's never been a gray area. You don't lay down with nobody you're not willing to fucking have a baby with, man. Like that.
That's so cute. Hey, what they say? Cliche. Oh, don't have sex if you sound like a goddamn commercial. Don't have sex if you don't want to have a baby.
Yeah,
shut the hell up, man. People are gonna have sex. Period.
Okay.
So,
all right, Dave, let's get to these topics.
Yes.
I'm glad going on for a long time.
Yeah, so stop with the bullshit, man.
I'm a realist, and I've never laid down with anybody I've never laid down with nobody without protection that I didn't want to have a baby with. And that's all I'm saying. So now,
protection. You didn't have enough ass coming up and just throwing it.
Yeah. People should have sex, use protection, be smart. Absolutely.
All right, so let's get to the topic.
Yeah, next.
You ready? All right, so it's time to start the show. This is where the show gets interested because, like I said, Dave gets to become a human. He gets to let his hair down that he don't have, and we're gonna have this conversation.
Here we go
So, first question. First question, Dave. Would you be offended if your mate asked you to sign a prenup?
Not at all. I mean, as a lawyer, I totally get it. Not offended at all. Now, been happily married now. I think Jill is watching, so hi Jill.
Hey Jill.
Hey Jill.
What's up? And love you. And yeah, if you ever.
So was you a lawyer when you got married? So what stage were you at when you got married? Were you already a lawyer with the big bag?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, again, you're also talking from the standpoint of having a big bag and from the standpoint of already being married. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I think that asking a person to sign a prenup personally is the biggest jab in the gut you can give to a person that you say you love. Because if you love a person, you have to be able to trust them with your life. If you can trust a person with your life, you can't trust them with your fucking bank account. You can't trust them with your assets. That is the craziest. I don't believe in prenups. I think prenups shouldn't exist unless you're a superstar with millions of dollars and you meet a model at the club. And all of a sudden you're like, she's beautiful, sex is good, she's great in bed, I love her, I want to marry her. That's different.
So
but if you grow with a woman, if you grow with a woman, she deserves half of everything you have. Period, point blank. And you shouldn't get married with a person that's not helping you grow as a human being. So I think having a prenup is an underlining jab and distrust in how the longevity and what a marriage is supposed to be. I think I killed y'all on that one.
Well, I don't got a response. I think you should go into getting married without a prenup.
You getting a prenup? You getting married in a month?
Yeah, and I'm like, I ain't thinking about no damn prenup.
You got a house, you got assets though.
Yeah, but she do too. But I don't give a damn.
All right, so what made you? Did you sign a prenup?
No, not at all. No, and for me, it's like to each his own. Whatever works for all.
I just feel like prenup is saying like, I don't trust this will last. Just like marriage, like your hand in marriage. When you marry somebody, nobody should go into a marriage like this shit might not work.
It's a doubt. It's already, you walking in there with a doubt.
Yeah,
basically.
You don't need life insurance for a marriage. That's what a prenup is. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you don't need an insurance or a backup plan for something that
you're second doubting the marriage already.
Yeah, that's my point, is that you're second doubting the marriage. So, hot topic. I think we touched on that enough. Hot topic. So a man came out to bring his kid food. This has been all over social media all day long, so I can't wait to have this conversation. Man came out to bring his son food. His son, mother videotaped him. Quality, you don't want to turn your phone up in a second here, because I want him to see it. So basically, she had multiple fathers of her children. Okay? This man decided to bring his son a meal, a little McDonald's Happy Meal. Okay. And she has other kids waiting at the door, watching this man hand his son the meal. Okay. She tries to expose him to social media. This has been talked about all day for the last 2 days. Quando, let's play the clip, man. Let's get to it, and you can watch this clip.
Look, y'all. Every fucking day, my baby daddy come here with one fucking meal for my child, but I have 3 other kids. We have 1 kid together, but he only want to come and bring one thing at McDonald's. But what about my other kids? How come you can't feed my other kids McDonald's though? Like, that's bogus as hell. Like, you're not finna sit here and make my other kids feel left out, and you're only bringing one child something to eat. Look, there you go. And I bet you he only got 1 thing in there. That don't look enough for all my kids. That don't look enough for all my kids. What is that? That's just 1 burger? 1 burger, 1 fry?
What he like? What do you mean?
Okay, what about my other kids?
What about your other kids?
Okay, but them your kids' siblings though.
What are you talking about? What are you mad
Them my kids, them your kids' siblings though.
So what you?
So my other kids finna be left out.
You didn't feed them?
You know I don't give my food stamps to the 7.
Listen, how is that my problem?
But if you're trying to help out though, you're not helping out.
I'm not trying to help. I'm trying to help my son.
But how are you helping your son when you're only getting food for just him and not the other kids, his siblings?
Listen,
them are his siblings though. He's not finna eat in front of all his other siblings, and they're not eating on McDonald's. Why do I gotta put?
Bring him out to the car. I'll let him
No. He's not finna eat that shit at all if you can't bring enough for everybody. Give it here.
Thank you.
Give it here. Give it here. Give it here. Done. He ain't eating this. You.
Why would you just do that?
Because you ain't bringing up for all the other kids. Look, y'all. Because you ain't bringing up for all the other.
All right, so that's the actual clip. And due to the fact that Dave is now part of the SDP panel, I want your opinion first, sir.
Okay, well, yeah, I mean, I feel like, look, feed the world, right? It's like, if you're already going to McDonald's, why not bring it up for all the kids? And you know how that is. It's got like siblings, they're like fighting over things, like just try to make it equal. I have a blended family. My wife and I are both like second marriage. She has kids, I have kids. I'm always feeding everyone. Yeah. It's all good.
But what if her kid's father only brings her kids food, not to get messy?
I want to interject on that. Now I see what you're saying as a blended family.
Like and share.
I got a blended family too, right, as I speak though. But as with my other baby mamas, I do for everything, but I would just buy shit for my kids.
Well, again, this is I want everybody to really focus on what I'm about to say.
As a blended family, I'm buying for the house.
Well, you're buying for your girl, so that don't count. So no, you're buying for your girl though. You just said exactly what you said. You said when you go take your kids' food, you only buy your kids' food. That's what you just said. Not your girl, Ron. Your girl don't count. Your baby mama counts. So if you go to your baby, and I hate that makes me cringe.
I don't think you're listening to what the fuck I'm trying to tell you.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm talking about for my other, with my 2 sons I have, she has another kid. I don't buy shit for that other kid.
I just said that, Ron. You're not listening. Okay. So back to the audience real quick. I want to say this because this is clearly what we're missing in society, and this is what the show is all about. And I'm going to break down the term of what the show is all about. Smartest Dumb People is about, I've always had friends that were smart, and dumb at the same time. Like this man is just telling me, now I'm not listening to him, and then double back and say the
But
same thing.
I don't think you.
But I am. I'm trying to explain to you. This is what's wrong.
I'm talking about a whole nother household.
Laurent, I'm saying that, brother. It's okay. So back to what my opinion is on it. People, ladies, gentlemen, this is why you choose your partners correctly. Because once you have a blended family, I can't expect no man that's dating my kid's mom, which he should. The humane part of him should. Just being a human and being having integrity, he should do that. But in society, you don't know what that man's wallet is. I'll be devil's advocate and say you don't know how much money he has. Maybe because I've been that guy. I've had $6 in my Cash App and just send it to my daughter to get her some McDonald's. Now she's with her.
I don't give a fuck what I got in my pocket.
But again, but I understand.
I'm gonna provide for mine.
Well, that's what he did.
Exactly.
And that's why it's going viral, because the question is, or the conversation is, him providing for just his child is wrong. And it should not be. But it is when it's being taped and he's being yelled at and it's being weird. Because, I mean, we all know social media made the world chaotic. But I felt like that should
be under my own umbrella, and we ain't got to worry about none of this.
That's what I'm saying, but you got to choose your partners wisely. That's why you don't go out here having 4 or 5 kids by 4 or 5 men.
Hey, the next baby daddy should have pulled up right after me, actually. Oh, you got a Happy Meal too? Yeah, oh, he right behind. Yeah, hey.
Right.
I'm not giving three Happy Meals and I got 1 kid.
But all right. So, and then what does the tables turn? What if the table? All right. So the best way to go about this with this guy is what he should have did. If he didn't want to buy the other kids food, he should have said, "Hey, I'm gonna take my son for an hour. Take him."
Now to give it to him. He said, "Bring him down, let him eat in the car." That was a part of the video.
Well, that was after it already got toxic and chaotic.
Well, he didn't know it. He didn't know it was toxic. He been dropping off one meal every day, or every other day. He been dropping the same meal off. And all of a sudden, now it's a problem.
Is he wrong, Dave?
Is he wrong?
No.
Because I don't want to get between you guys.
No.
No, you ain't gonna get between us.
So, okay. In that guy's defense, he was kind of ambushed, so I feel bad for him. I do think, you know how it is with kids, if one kid gets a thing and the other kids are there and they're not getting the thing, it creates a problem. So I think if you can't do for all, you should kind of hold back and not do for any.
Yeah.
I just think that's the way to do it when you're talking
but
about
the thing is, and that's definitely well said, but every time I bring this bill, why don't you just send my kid outside and we can take a roll, and then I can have my own time for this little hour while he eats. And then I'll drop him right back off. The other kids don't have to know why he's leaving.
Well, again,
it's all about optics.
It's dad
managing
time.
the situation.
And I feel like the women don't have multiple kids by multiple men.
Well, you can't put that in. That
is though. That if you decide
how
to
can
have
you tell a
multiple
motherfucker
kids,
what not to do?
because that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to occur.
But you can't tell a woman not. You sound like Roe vs. Wade. Don't have another kid by another man. You sound like a damn fool. She want to have a baby by somebody else. You gonna have a baby by somebody else.
Let me read these comments. So Mary Moss said he's not obligated to provide for them other kids. It would be different if they were together. I would understand buying for all. Exactly. But they're not.
If they're together, I'm buying for everybody.
Of course.
Okay, that's
why I said that's your household. Your woman, kids in your home. You get married. Those are your kids.
I'm just saying that for this same story. If he was with her, I feel he would be obligated to buy for everybody, but he's not.
Let me see what Claire says. She said, I see what everyone is saying, but kind of seems like she's reacting out of distress. She's upset because she's unable to provide for all of her kids. That is true.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, it do sound like
my bull at 11. You know it, and you know that.
Yeah. She definitely was acting in distress. So I couldn't agree. I couldn't disagree with you more. So y'all ready for the next topic? Teacher.
I'm gonna double a pound of ground beef off for you to cook for your kids.
All right, so next topic. Next topic is teacher gets in an argument with the student, and they're going back and forth. And he said, he said, "Go get your father." And her response was, "My father dead." And then his response was, "This is the teacher talking to a student. Well, go dig him up there." This is the actual video. We'll be right back with you.
So a teacher teacher and a student were arguing at my school today, and he said this.
I'm talking to your ass. That's who I'm talking to. Nah, you know me. You know me and you know I ain't for the game. Stop talking to me, Gayana. Call your daddy then. Tell your daddy come up here and talk to me then. You, stop talking to me. No, I'm telling you, stop talking to me. Tell your daddy to come talk to me. Tell your daddy to come talk to me. Nah, go dig him up and tell him to come talk to me.
So a teacher and a student were arguing at my school today, and he said this.
I'm talking to your ass. That's who I'm talking to. All right, so as we sit here basically with a man that makes decisions for prosecutors and things like that, what would be the charge for this? Because to me, he should definitely be suspended.
That's not a charge.
No, not a charge. I was joking. I was just using that as a little segue.
So what I'm going to say is, first off, with pandemic and everything going on, teachers have been under a lot of stress. They're underpaid, they're overworked, they're being asked to do all sorts of stuff beyond just teaching. So I'm very sympathetic, and may have been a very stressed situation where he said something that he regretted later. So I'm withholding judgment for now, because who knows where that was coming from, where it was going. What he said was wrong, absolutely insensitive, but teachers have been going through so much, and the fact is that we're not paying them enough, we're not supporting them enough. That's why so many of them are quitting. We need to do more to support teachers. So I'm going to withhold judgment. There's going to be no entry of a verdict on this one.
For that whole argument, I think when he was arguing with the teenage student, I think he was saying, I'm not going to argue with a baby teenage girl. Have your dad come and talk to me.
I can see that.
I don't think he was coming at her.
But what the jab is when he said,
Yeah.
go dig him up there.
Yeah, and that was fucked up. But the initial, I think he was saying, have your dad come talk to me as a man to man, because I'm not about to talk to no damn kid.
I can see that.
But the last part, I think he was just so in a rage.
Yeah.
It was like a jab at a kid.
Yeah.
And that was kind of, I think that crossed the line.
Well, we have somebody that was in OPS, that's on the OPS board on our show probably about 3 weeks ago, and we was talking about the teacher situation and the teachers being in distress themselves. But I'm gonna be honest with you. Personally, I feel like a teacher. That's what I said. We need when it comes to anybody that's dealing with the public, even yourself dealing with the public, we need mental evaluations, because you have to be. A teacher has to be patient. A teacher has to have patience like no other. A teacher has to understand they're always under the microscope because they are teaching
Anybody
children.
in public is under the microscope. Anybody dealing with people in public, you're under a microscope. It's just not teachers. You trigger. You're just triggers, and getting patience is the most thing you need to have when you're working in public. In working in public, you have to have the most patience in any type of field when you're working in public. It's just not teachers.
Dave, can I ask you this? And like I said, this is a lot to do with the job that you're up for. Do you think that when you're a DC, you should be mentally evaluated?
That I should.
Not. I'm talking about anybody. Like Klein, that's in his position that he's in now. Why I say that is because you can have somebody mentally unstable controlling the narrative for somebody's life. You understand what I'm saying?
Well, look who was president before Biden. I mean, that guy, I mean, we learned today that Trump was grabbing the wheel from a Secret Service person trying to go to that riot at the Capitol on January 6th.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
Wow. So I think, okay, so in the United States, we underinvest in mental health. No question about that. We someone breaks a leg or has a heart attack, we're all over it. But someone is stressed or anxious or depressed, it's like, oh, you need to work it out on your own. We don't invest enough in mental health, whether it's teachers or public officials or anyone. And the fact is, if we had mental health parity, which means equality in our country, we might not have breakdowns or things like that. We would treat people's minds like we treat their bodies, right? If you have an emergency heart attack, even if you don't have insurance, you get to go to the hospital and they have to take care of you. It's the law. When it comes to mental health, we need to do the same thing. People need help, especially with all the things that are going on.
I am so glad you said that, and we can stick on topic with what you got going on. So I couldn't wait to ask you this question, but I felt like you bringing up mental health will help with the question that I had for you earlier today. So basically, you making those decisions and what to charge people for. Are you going to be understanding in the situation? So I can break down the situation to you and see what your opinion is on it. So normally a robbery is 8 to 5 years, right? And we're talking about a bank robbery or whatever the case may be. And this is the question: can you make it to where subconsciously you can understand situations happen? And a mother that wasn't able to feed her children, say for example this woman, she wasn't able to buy her kid McDonald's, her baby daddy did that, she threw the McDonald's in the street, now she goes and try to rob a liquor store that night. Do you think that she deserves to be in jail for 5 to 8 years when she was really just trying to feed her kids?
I mean, this is something that's happening all over the country. People are desperate because, inflation is up. We all know that. Inflation is up to 10%. Gas is up through the roof. Medical costs are up. And everything else is going haywire. We have all this stress in our society. So you're going to have folks like that. If she's a first-time offender, she's never committed a crime before, and you've got the totality of the situation, I mean, sure, if she was armed or what have you, you need to address that. But I'm all in favor of, for first-time offenders, if they're nonviolent, we need to divert those folks, do a mental health evaluation. There's a lot of smart folks who are in office right now across the country who are talking about investing in mental health diversion programs, investing in community mental health for people who are on the lower rung of the socioeconomic ladder. There's some folks here who are talking about it, not the guy I'm running against, but other folks. I'll partner with them to make sure we're investing in mental health services. So we don't even get to that point. If someone is in that kind of situation, they should be able to call a 3-digit number, whether it's 211 or whatever, and get the help they need. They shouldn't be turning to a criminal act. We have the resources. We're still the richest country in the world. No one should be going without food for their kid. This whole thing where, and Pete Ricketts, who's our governor right now, very, very disappointing figure. He's always for cutting food stamps, cutting rental assistance. He rejected rental assistance. He also, but you know who he gave assistance to? $10,000 check to the guy I'm running against. So the same guy who's cutting services, mental health, food assistance, rental assistance, is supporting my opponent. I'm just saying.
Right.
So I want to say this: when you get to the level of you win, because that's the goal, and I think you will. You win. You in office. I think what communities struggle with, especially impoverished communities, is we understand we're just a vote, okay? And the smartest dumb people would never invite somebody on that didn't have the credentials as far as in being a part of the community. And I've had 3 or 4 of my closest friends when it comes to like trusting they were in the politics area. And they told me how decent of a human being you were and how great of a guy you were, and you deserve to be in office, or you deserve to be in that DC position. So what I will ask from you, and I'm doing it on TV, I just want you to understand, like, we've always been told, I will change this, I will do this, I will be there for you guys. But once they get that position, we're dropped. A la Biden. Biden told, he got on a black platform and told black people, you ain't black if you don't vote for me. And we really believed him. Then we voted for him, and he ain't helped the community. He ain't did shit. So all I ask from you is, because like I said, we're going to push the agenda every show, vote for Dave, because hell, we're going to put vote for Dave on this wall. But I just want you to understand that, like, we really care about our community and all we need. And I'm gonna tell you what another thing you are and what you could be for us. The most dangerous person in society is a white advocate for black people. Okay, and we need more to understand that they have not only a different way of view with rights, and understanding that they can be the change that we need. And like I said, that's why we had you on this panel. That's why we had you on the show, because of the people that I talked to. Shout out to Robert. Shout out to a couple other people. They just said that you are that guy, and they gave plenty of information. Hell, Rob was telling me about the Klein situation today, and how it's just time for somebody, a new face, a fresh face that understands the black community, not the black community, that understands the impoverished communities. And he said that you've always been an advocate, and you know what it's like to be in the you know what it's like to be in the impoverished community, because you're dealing with people that's getting evicted every day. Yeah. So we are definitely rooting for your success, and you know I'm definitely gonna call you when I get evicted. Hey guys,
call me before you get evicted. Don't wait until you are evicted.
Okay.
You step in before. And I'll say this: I promise to you, if you keep doing this show, I will be on your show after I get elected. So you can start asking me the tough questions. What about this? What about that? You said this. You're doing that.
If Don Klein wouldn't come, Don Klein would. Hey, put your vote in, man. Hey, get ready to vote, man.
Hey guys,
November 8th.
Hey, spill your spill.
Now it's time to say goodbye to all my Negro friends and Caucasians. Listen, this is the smartest dumb people. Dave, you want to give them your panhandles? You want to give them your up-and-coming events?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, DavePantos.com is my website. Big event coming up July 10th. The Sydney, which is in Benson, right on Maple Street, is hosting an event for me from 7 to 9 p.m. It's a free event. Marcy Yates is going to be performing. It's co-hosted by Cami Watkins and Keegan Korf, two great leaders in our community. Cami Watkins ran for office last year. She should have won. She's great. But anyway, please come out to that event. And then also you can sign up to knock doors for us, write postcards. Yeah, write postcards, make phone calls. We have postcard writing and phone call events every other Tuesday at the Blue Line in Dundee. And then we're going to be marching in parades like J.E. George and Ralston. It's great to have numbers out for those. I was in the Juneteenth parade a couple weekends ago in North Omaha. Super great. The vibes were.
Did Don Klein do it?
He was not there.
Oh, talk to him. He putting in his footwork.
Tell him,
hey, he putting in his footwork.
You know, the best thing about the Juneteenth event for me was we're all lining up, and who starts walking towards us but Brenda Council.
Yeah.
And what was she wearing? Pantos for County Attorney T-shirt. She was wearing the gear. Thank you, Brenda.
I love Brenda. I love Brenda Council. That's one of my buddies.
Yeah.
I bump into her all the time.
All right, so look, this is the smartest dumb people, man. Dave Pantos, thank you again for coming through, my brother. We appreciate you. Quando, Rondo, Anthony That Dude Johnson. One more time, you want to give me your panhandle one more time? Just let them know where they can find you.
Yeah, DavePantos.com, and then Pantos for County Attorney on Facebook, at DPantos on Twitter. We're also on Instagram. We're everywhere. Working on TikTok too.
All right, so this is the smartest dumb people. Anthony That Dude Johnson, Quando, Rondo, Dave Pantos. Y'all have a great night. What you guys go ahead and do is go over to our YouTube page. Make sure you like, subscribe there, and also check out our Instagram and make sure you follow us there, man. We'll give a follow back for sure. Holla at us. Alright guys, what I need for you guys to go ahead and do is go over to our YouTube page. Make sure you like, subscribe there, and also check out our Instagram and make sure you follow us there, man. We'll give a follow back for sure. Holla at us. Alright guys, what I need for you guys to go ahead and do is go over to our YouTube page. Make sure you like, subscribe there, and also check out our Instagram and make sure you follow us there, man. We'll give a follow back for sure. Holla at us.